Portland, the Garden Parish, by Jamaica Holmes, published on August 25th, 2025. Welcome to this episode, where we journey to one of Jamaica's hidden coastal gems, a place where the natural beauty, cultural richness, and the promise of the future come together in perfect harmony. Today, we're exploring Snow Hill, a serene seaside community in Portland Parish, often referred to as Jamaica's Garden Parish. When most people think of Jamaica, images of turquoise waters, golden beaches, and reggae rhythms probably come to mind. And yes, all of that is true. But there are corners of this island that tell a different story, one that goes beyond the postcards and dives deep into history, community, and sustainability. Snow Hill is one of those places. Portland, the Garden Parish. To understand Snow Hill, it helps to understand the larger canvas it sits on, the parish of Portland. Nestled on Jamaica's eastern coast, Portland is often celebrated for its lush landscapes, rolling hills, hidden waterfalls, and pristine beaches that have resisted the wave of mass tourism. Unlike Montego Bay or Negril, Portland has maintained a quieter, more authentic character. It's a place where the natural world feels alive, vibrant, and unspoiled. Imagine walking along a quiet road where hills rise on one side and the sparkling Caribbean stretches on the other. You can hear the distant call of birds, the soft rustle of palm fronds, and the rhythmic pulse of waves against the shore. That's Snow Hill. It's not just a place to visit. It's a place to experience the essence of Jamaica. A history written in soil and sea. Portland's story is as rich as its landscapes. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the parish's fertile soil made it ideal for sugar and banana cultivation. These crops weren't just commodities. They were the lifeblood of local communities, shaping both the economy and social structures of the time. The port at Port Antonio became an important hub, connecting Portland to international markets and bringing global attention to this corner of Jamaica. The early 20th century added a new layer to Portland's identity. Hollywood discovered the parish. Actors, writers, and travelers seeking refuge from crowded cities came in search of beauty and tranquility. One of the most famous names associated with Portland is Errol Flynn, who famously settled here. Stories of his adventures, along with the villas and estates built during this era, added a sense of glamour and exclusivity to the area. Yet, despite this brief period of international attention, Portland chose a different path from the rest of Jamaica. Instead of succumbing to large-scale commercialization, the parish preserved its authenticity. Coastal towns remained small, villages continued traditional practices, and the natural environment was largely left intact. Snow Hill, as part of this legacy, embodies the parish's careful balance between progress and preservation. The landscape and lifestyle. Today, Snow Hill thrives as a community that harmonizes natural beauty with a sense of place. Roads link it conveniently to Port Antonio, Buff Bay, and the North Coast Highway, but the area retains its calm, almost timeless atmosphere. Walking through the community, you might see boutique guest houses tucked into the landscape, family-run restaurants serving fresh local cuisine, and artisanal workshops preserving traditional crafts. And then there's the land itself. Snow Hill sits slightly elevated above the coast, offering gentle breezes and a sense of openness that invites reflection. Step down to the shoreline, and you find a coastline that feels private, almost sacred. Here, you can experience Jamaica as it once was, unhurried, intimate, and connected to both land and sea. Portland as a whole offers treasures at every turn. There's Reach Falls, a series of cascading waterfalls hidden deep within the rainforest. The Blue Lagoon, whose waters seem almost unreal in their color, provides a serene escape. The Rio Grande, famous for bamboo rafting, invites visitors to drift slowly down a river embraced by tropical forest. And the beaches, Boston Bay, home to the world-famous jerk chicken, and Frenchman's Cove, with its picturesque sand and gentle surf, combine natural beauty with rich cultural experiences. Cultural richness and community. What sets Snow Hill and Portland apart is more than scenery. It's culture, it's community. Portland is a place where traditions endure, where festivals, craft markets, and culinary practices link the present with generations past. Walking through the villages, you might encounter fishermen bringing in the day's catch, artisans weaving baskets or carving wood, or families sharing stories that have been passed down for decades. This cultural depth makes Snow Hill more than just a scenic location. It's a living, breathing part of Jamaica's heritage. It's a place where visitors and residents alike can feel a connection to the island's history, its people, and its ways of life. The future, growth with balance. Looking forward, Snow Hill embodies a model for sustainable growth. Unlike areas overrun by tourism and development, the potential here lies in enhancing what already exists rather than replacing it. Ecotourism, small-scale resorts, wellness retreats, and lifestyle-focused investments all have a role to play, but only if approached with sensitivity to the environment and local communities. Coastal and rural land in Portland is limited, which adds value to careful, thoughtful development. Infrastructure improvements, including better roads and increased connectivity to Kingston, make the parish more accessible without diluting its charm. The trend is clear. More people are seeking destinations that offer authenticity, natural beauty, and cultural depth, and Snow Hill fits that vision perfectly. This balance of growth and preservation is crucial. Snow Hill's future isn't about high-rise resorts or mass tourism. It's about sustaining its essence while welcoming new ideas, creating spaces that honor the environment, the community, and the traditions that make the area unique. Investment insights and lifestyle opportunities. While we're not talking property sales today, it's worth reflecting on what draws attention to areas like Snow Hill. Investors, developers, and lifestyle seekers are increasingly drawn to places that offer more than just a location. They want meaning, experience, and longevity. Snow Hill offers limited but valuable coastal land that naturally encourages thoughtful, sustainable development. Growing interest in ecotourism, boutique accommodations, and cultural tourism. Lifestyle appeal, with opportunities for wellness retreats, creative projects, and community-focused enterprises. Connectivity paired with seclusion, making it accessible yet removed from the bustle of heavily trafficked tourist hubs. These elements combine to create a long-term vision for Snow Hill as a hub for sustainable living and tourism. A place where the future can be built without compromising history or heritage. Why Snow Hill captures the imagination. So, why does Snow Hill matter? Perhaps it's the landscape. Rolling hills, rainforest-clad slopes, and a pristine coastline that feels like it has been preserved just for those willing to explore it. Perhaps it's the culture, traditions, cuisine, festivals, and stories that give Portland its identity. Or perhaps it's the potential, a place where eco-conscious tourism, creative living, and thoughtful investment can come together in harmony. In Snow Hill, all of these threads intertwine. The past informs the present preserves the environment and traditions, and the future invites sustainable growth. It's a community that exemplifies balance between nature and culture, between history and innovation, and between seclusion and accessibility. Imagine beginning your day with a quiet walk along a beach untouched by crowds. The Caribbean breeze carrying the scent of salt and tropical vegetation. Later, you might find yourself sharing a meal of freshly caught seafood, chatting with local artisans, or exploring a waterfall tucked into the forest. In the evening, the sky glows with the colors of a Caribbean sunset, and the soundscape is dominated by waves and the calls of native birds. This is the rhythm of life in Snow Hill, a reminder that Jamaica has corners still defined by authenticity, by community, and by the enduring beauty of its natural and cultural landscapes. For those interested in the wider picture, Snow Hill represents a broader trend in Jamaica. The island is increasingly being recognized for its ecotourism potential, its cultural tourism, and its opportunities for sustainable development. Communities like Snow Hill show how growth and preservation can coexist, offering lessons for other regions and a blueprint for future development that honors both people and place. Closing thoughts. Snow Hill is more than a location. It is a story of Jamaica's past, its present, and its potential future. It is a reminder that the island's true treasures are not always the most advertised resorts or the busiest beaches, but the communities that have held on to their identity, nurtured their environment, and embraced both tradition and thoughtful innovation. As we reflect on Snow Hill, it becomes clear that this corner of Portland is more than a hidden gem. It's a living example of how beauty, culture, and opportunity can coexist. And while the future is always uncertain, the promise of Snow Hill lies in its ability to grow thoughtfully, to welcome those who value authenticity, and to remain a place where the past, present, and future harmoniously meet. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Snow Hill, Portland, a place where Jamaica's natural splendor, cultural richness, and sustainable potential are all on display.